My estranged dad found me through DNA test. The email hit my inbox at 2:13 a.m. I remember because I was still awake, half buried in my phone, trying to fall asleep. It was from a DNA testing company I'd almost forgotten about, the kind where you spit in a tube and weeks later they tell you about your ancestors. Only this email wasn't about ancestors. The subject line made my stomach drop instantly. You have a new close family connection. I clicked it without thinking. My heart started pounding harder with each word. It didn't just say possible cousin or distant match. No. It said predicted relationship, father. I swear my entire body went cold. Father. I had never known mine. Growing up, it was just me and my mom. Whenever I asked about him, she would brush it off with a vague answer. He wasn't the kind of man we needed in our lives. And for the most part, I accepted that. But seeing it spelled out with a name and profile attached jolted something in me I can't even describe. It wasn't a stranger. It wasn't some random man across the world. It was him. He had tested too. He had found me. And then, as I sat there shaking, a notification popped up. A message request. From him. I couldn't bring myself to open it. My finger hovered over the screen, frozen. Every question I'd ever had about my life, every missing piece, suddenly pressed against me like a weight I wasn't ready to carry. What did he want? Why now? And more importantly, was I ready to know the truth? That was the exact moment I realized nothing about my life was going to stay the same. But to understand how I got here, to that shocking 2 a.m. moment, you have to know where it all started. Growing up, I didn't think much about my dad. Sure, I wondered sometimes. At school, when kids had dad and me events, I felt the sting of being left out. I remember once in second grade, the teacher asked us to draw our family. I drew me, my mom, and our cat. When she asked about my dad, I said he's busy, because it felt easier than explaining I had no idea who he was. My mom worked 2 jobs most of my childhood. She was tired, stressed, but she loved me fiercely. Birthdays, scraped knees, school plays, she never missed a moment. And whenever people tried to pity me for not having a father around, I'd shrug. I had what I needed. Or so I thought. Things started to shift when I hit my late teens. You know that itch to know where you really come from? I started noticing how people looked at their parents, noticing traits, features, even little habits they picked up. I had my mom's eyes and stubbornness, sure, but the rest, I couldn't place it anywhere, and it started gnawing at me in ways I couldn't push aside anymore. I asked my mom again. This time I pressed harder. She got quiet, said it was complicated. That word complicated stuck with me. What was so complicated about saying who he was, unless there was something she didn't want me to know? And then, like some twisted coincidence, one of my friends mentioned the DNA kits on sale. She said, it's fun. You might even find long-lost cousins. I laughed it off at first, but something inside me whispered, do it. So, I did. I spat into that little tube, sealed it, and mailed it off, not thinking much would happen. I joked about it to my mom, and she gave me this strange look I couldn't decode. A look that, now, in hindsight, was probably fear. Weeks went by. I got the ancestry percentages. That was cool. Then distant relatives started popping up, second cousins, third cousins. Nothing dramatic. Life went on. Until last night. Until that email. Until his name. Until his message. And now I'm sitting here with the truth staring me in the face, my chest tight, my stomach twisted, because the man I've wondered about my entire life, the man my mom never wanted to talk about, just found me. And his first message was only 4 words. We need to talk. My hand shook so hard I almost dropped my phone. What could that even mean? What did he need to say that couldn't wait? And why did those 4 words feel less like a reunion and more like the beginning of a storm? That's where I'm stuck right now. Sitting in the dark, staring at my screen, pulse hammering in my ears. My estranged dad, my stranger of a father, knows who I am. He's reached out. And something tells me once I open that message, there's no going back. I didn't sleep that night. I kept the phone clutched in my hand, staring at those 4 words on the screen. We need to talk. Every few minutes, I'd unlock my phone, scroll back to the message, read it again, and lock it. Over and over, like maybe the words would rearrange themselves into something easier to process. They never did. By 6 a.m., I felt sick. My brain was buzzing with questions I couldn't answer. What if this wasn't even real? What if it was some kind of scam, someone pretending to be my dad? But then again, the DNA company verified it. They don't just make those things up. The sun was barely up when I finally texted my best friend, Sarah. She's the one person I trust with everything. Can you come over? Something crazy happened. She showed up 30 minutes later with 2 coffees and a look that said, this better be good. I handed her my phone without saying a word. She read the email first. Her jaw dropped. Then she opened the message. Holy shit, she whispered. This is, wow. OP, what are you gonna do? I don't know, I admitted. My voice cracked. I mean, do I even want to know him? What if there's a reason my mom kept him away? Sarah leaned back, sipping her coffee, eyes wide. Yeah, but what if this is your chance to finally get answers? You've wondered about him your whole life. You can't ignore this forever. She was right, but her words didn't make the knot in my stomach any looser. When my mom woke up later that morning, I almost told her. The words were right there, on the tip of my tongue. But then I saw her, hair messy, still in pajamas, humming while she made scrambled eggs, and I froze. She looked so peaceful, so normal, and I knew the second I said anything, I'd be ripping open something she clearly didn't want me to touch. So I stayed quiet. The whole day felt like I was moving through fog. Every noise, every vibration from my phone made my heart skip. I couldn't stop imagining what might be waiting in his next message. Sure enough, by the evening, another one came through. This time it was longer. It said, "I know this is a shock. I've been searching for you for years. I didn't want you to find out this way, but I had to take the chance. Please don't ignore me. There are things you need to know." My chest tightened reading it. Searching for me for years? Why? What did he mean, things I need to know? Sarah told me to just reply. One message, that's it, just to see what he says. You don't have to commit to anything. I typed out 3 words. What things? Then I stared at it. My thumb hovered over send. My heart thudded in my chest. But before I could press it, my phone buzzed again. Another message from him. And this one made my blood run cold. It said, "Ask your mother about 1998. I dropped the phone like it burned me. Sarah grabbed it, read the text, and her face drained of color. "What does that mean?" she whispered. I couldn't answer, because I didn't know. But I knew one thing. Whatever happened in 1998, my mom has been keeping it from me my entire life. And now my estranged father, who I've never spoken to, was dragging it into the light. That's where things spiraled. My finger hovered over the keyboard so long I thought my skin might fuse with the glass. That text sat there, glowing back at me. "Ask your mother about 1998. My pulse wouldn't slow down. I wanted to scream, to run, to throw the phone across the room. But more than anything, I needed to know what he meant. Before I could second-guess myself again, I hit send. What happened in 1998? 3 dots appeared instantly. He was already typing. I felt Sarah clutch my arm, whispering, "Oh my God, oh my God." The reply came through in one long message. "That was the year your mother disappeared from my life. We were together. I thought we were building a future. Then, without warning, she left and I never saw her again. Months later, I found out she was pregnant. I tried everything. Calls, letters, even her family. But she cut me off completely. I never even knew if you were born. Until now." I stared at the words until they blurred. My stomach turned. My mom who raised me single-handedly, who told me my dad never wanted me, just left? Vanished? Took me away and never looked back? Sarah whispered, "You need to ask her." But instead of marching into the kitchen and confronting my mom like I thought I would, my fingers kept moving. "Why now? Why find me now?" I typed. Another reply shot back almost instantly. "Because I never stopped looking. And because there's something else you need to know about that year. Something she didn't tell you. I can't put it all in text. Please, meet me. Just once. You don't have to decide anything today, but you deserve the truth. Meet him." The thought made my chest seize up. A total stranger, yet not a stranger at all, was asking me to walk into his world. Sarah shook her head. "This is insane. OP, what if it's not safe?" But the truth was like a hook in my ribs pulling me forward. I couldn't not know. I couldn't unsee those words. So I typed, "Where?" The reply came, an address, just a simple street name and number. Not far, 20 minutes from my place. Sarah grabbed my shoulders. "You can't just go. At least don't go alone." "I have to." And as I said it, I wasn't sure if it was bravery or sheer stupidity. By the time the sky turned dark, I was in my car, engine running, staring at the glowing map on my phone. The address was locked in. His house. I pulled up to the curb, and then I saw him. A man standing on the porch, staring straight at me, like he knew I was coming all along. My estranged father. And the second I stepped out of that car, everything I thought I knew about my life was about to blow apart. The porch light flickered overhead as I froze on the curb, gripping my car door like it was the only thing tethering me to the earth. He didn't move. He just stood there, tall and rigid, his hands jammed in his pockets, watching me. I could have driven away. I thought about it, I really did. But my legs had a will of their own. Before I realized it, I was closing the door and walking toward him, every step loud in my ears. When I got closer, I finally saw his face. He looked older than my mom, but not by much. Salt and pepper hair, tired eyes. And those eyes, they were my eyes. That stopped me cold. It was like staring into a version of myself that had lived a whole other life. "You came," he said, softly. His voice cracked like he hadn't used it in years. I didn't answer right away. My throat felt locked shut. He gestured toward the porch. "We can sit. I won't keep you long." Every cell in my body screamed caution, but I climbed the steps and sat on the edge of a chair. He stayed standing, shifting his weight like he didn't know how to be near me. Then he said the words that split my world open. "Your mother lied to you about me." The air seemed to thing around me. I clenched my fists, waiting for him to go on. He rubbed his face. "I loved her. We weren't just some fling. We had plans, dreams. I thought we were building a family. But then in 1998, she disappeared. No warning, no goodbye. Just gone. I thought she changed her mind, that she didn't want me. I thought I did something wrong." My stomach twisted. She told me you didn't want us, that you never cared." He let out a sharp laugh, bitter and broken. "That's the opposite of the truth. I searched for years. I only found you now because of the DNA test." I sat there, trying to breathe, trying to make sense of 2 completely different realities. My mom's story, his story. Both couldn't be true. But then he leaned closer, lowering his voice like he was afraid someone else might hear. There's more, OP. Something she never told you. Something about the year you were born. And if you want answers, you'll have to hear it from me. Because she never will. My pulse thudded so loud I could barely hear him. What are you talking about? He glanced past me, scanning the quiet street, before locking eyes with me again. You weren't supposed to exist. Not like this. Not the way it happened. There's a reason she left. And it wasn't because of me. I gripped the arm of the chair until it creaked under my hand. Then why? I demanded. He opened his mouth, hesitated, and in that moment the porch light flickered again and went out, plunging us into shadow. And before he could answer me, a sharp knock rattled the front door behind him. We both froze. Who's that? I whispered. He didn't answer. His face had gone pale. Whoever was on the other side of that door, he clearly wasn't expecting them. And just like that, the spiral began. The knock wasn't polite. It wasn't neighborly. It was sharp, hard, the kind of knock that makes your bones rattle because whoever's behind the door isn't just visiting, they're demanding. My father, God, it felt strange to even think of him that way, stiffened. His jaw locked, his shoulders squared. He didn't move to open it. He didn't even breathe. Are you going to get that? I whispered, my heart in my throat. He shook his head slowly. Then, almost under his breath, he muttered, she wouldn't dare. Another knock. Louder this time. Almost a pounding. Who? I asked. Before he could answer, a voice sliced through the wood, muffled but sharp enough to cut. Open the door. We need to talk. Now. My blood turned cold. That voice, I knew it. Mom. I nearly fell out of my chair. What the hell is she doing here? He swallowed hard, his eyes darting to mine. I didn't tell her. I swear to you. But she must have known. She always knows. The pounding turned into fists slamming against the door. I know you're in there. Open it before I make a scene. The street was quiet, but I could imagine curtains twitching, neighbors pausing in their living rooms, wondering what was going on. I stood up, my knees weak, and hissed, just open it. Let's hear her out. His hand shot out and gripped my arm. Not rough, but firm. No, you're not ready. I yanked free. Don't tell me I'm not ready. Both of you kept me in the dark my whole life. If she's here, I want to hear what the hell she has to say. For a long moment, he just stared at me, something unreadable flickering in his eyes. Then he sighed, heavy and resigned, and reached for the door. The hinges groaned as it swung open. And there she was, my mother. Her hair wild, her face pale, her eyes blazing with a fury I'd never seen. She didn't even look at me, her gaze locked on him like a predator spotting prey. You had no right, she hissed. He held his ground. He deserved to know. I stepped forward. No, what? What are you both hiding from me? Finally, she looked at me. Her expression softened, but only slightly. Sweetheart, don't listen to him. He's dangerous. He's twisting everything. Dangerous, he barked out a laugh. You're the one who lied. You're the one who ran. The air between them crackled like static. I ran to protect him, she snapped a finger at me. You don't know what your father did, OP. You don't know the truth about the night you were conceived. The room tilted. My head spun. What are you talking about? He turned to me, his face pale but steady. Don't believe her. She's rewriting the past. She always has. Liar, she screamed. Tell him what you did or I will. I felt like I was standing at the edge of a cliff, the ground crumbling under me. Somebody, tell me the truth, I shouted, my voice cracking. And then she said it. Words that carved themselves into me. Words I'll never forget. You weren't an accident, OP. You were a weapon, a way to keep me tied to him forever. The silence after that was deafening. My ears rang. My chest felt like it was caving in. He shook his head, stepping toward me. That's not true. I loved her, yes, but I never... She cut him off, her voice trembling. He forced me. He took away my choices. That's why I ran. That's why I hid you. I staggered back, my hands shaking. My brain screamed for air, for sense, for something solid to hold on to. You... what? Don't listen, he shouted, desperation in his tone. She's twisting it. I never hurt her. I loved her. She left because of her own secrets. Ask her about the other man. Ask her why she could never look you in the eye when you asked about me. She slapped him, hard, the sound cracking through the night like thunder. Don't you dare drag that up. And in that split second, I saw it. The flicker of guilt on her face, the way her eyes darted away. My knees buckled. Oh my God, I whispered. Both of you are lying to me. I stumbled to the door, shoving past them both, my vision blurring with tears. Behind me, I heard them screaming at each other. Accusations, denials, decades of buried rage exploding in one awful symphony. But I didn't care. I couldn't care. Because at that moment, the brutal truth hit me like a train. I didn't know who my father really was. I didn't know who my mother really was. And maybe, I didn't even know who I was anymore. I didn't go home that night. I drove until the gas tank hit empty, until my hands cramped on a wheel, until exhaustion blurred the road into streaks of color. Eventually, I crashed on Sarah's couch. My phone turned face down on the coffee table, ignoring the constant buzz of calls and texts from both of them. For 2 days, I barely moved. I couldn't eat, couldn't sleep. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw them. My mom's wild fury, his desperate eyes. The way the truth tangled and contradicted until it strangled me. On the third morning, I finally picked up my phone. Not to answer them, but to scroll through the DNA test app again. I don't even know why. I guess I needed something concrete, something numbers-based, something that wasn't words torn apart by emotion. And that's when I saw it. A new match. Not my mother, not him. Someone else. Close family. But not a father, not a mother, not even a sibling. It said, child. My vision tunneled. I don't have a child. At least, I don't think I do. The notification blinked again as if mocking me. The account was new, the name unfamiliar, no photo, just one short message attached to the match. You can't run from blood forever. I dropped the phone like it had burned me, because whatever nightmare I thought I'd just survived, it was only beginning.